Hi there everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes, and we've got the trailer pulled up for the next set of new heroes to drop into the game in just a couple of days. I think it's pretty obvious at this point that we are going to be getting Ganglot, but beyond that, not really sure what else. Ganglot has been confirmed to be a rearmed hero, so that is certainly pretty exciting, and we know what she's got, but certainly eager to see what else is on the banner. Maybe we're going to get another Ascended hero as well. Again, not really sure how fast they're going to be pumping out both types of heroes, so they've been going at it pretty aggressively, so we'll see if they taper off here or not. So, alright, so let us get started. Wait for the text to leave. Okay. So, oh! Getting right into it, apparently. Rearmed hero joins the battle. This is going to be Ganglot. Yep. Unmistakable silhouette with that scythe, that profile. Death anew. Look at the skeletons all around. Oh, Ganglot. Okay. Really beautiful design, honestly. I think they did a really great job. Arcane Downfall. Quick Riposte 4. Okay. Yeah, really gorgeous art. Okay. And then new heroes join the battle. What do we got? The Coyote. Oh, it's Hardin, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, so he is going to be a Lance Cavalry unit. Coyote's Lance, Surge Sparrow, attack speed near trace 3. Did we not have attack speed near trace 3? I guess not. So rocking the mustache, looking quite nice. Ah, the Last Princess. So this is going to be Nyna. So this might be all Mystery of the Emblem heroes. Respite Plus, Sabotage 3. Okay, so she's, I think, going to be the 4-star hero of the banner, it certainly seems. Cool animation. Yeah, alright. And okay, they are going to be... Wow, they really are doing it, huh? Ascended and Rearmed. They're really going at it. Is that TIki? It is TIki. Awakened Blood. So...
I can stay here with all of you.
Alright. So... She's an Infantry Red Dragon, Awoken Breath, Speed Res Finish for Speed Res Bulwark. So... This certainly doesn't help with people that are still salty, I think, about Adult TIki's treatment and Choose Your Legend, Brave TIki, kind of mirroring the aesthetic of the younger version. Final story chapter, Asker and Emblem. Oh, this is the final story chapter. I guess we are coming around to it, huh? Is there anything notable here? No, not really, other than Emblem being up there at the top. Yeah, okay. So interestingly enough, we've got, and I think, we may as well check the rest of the banner, because what they've done before, at least, when there was a Rearmed and Ascended, yeah, I was just about to say, okay, so there is going to be Elice Altian Princess as a 3-star and 4-star non-focus hero added into the pool. Okay, so at least they've been doing that. We haven't, been missing out on new units by them adding another Ascended as well as a new Rearmed hero into the banner. You know, you might think if they double up on that, then you would basically be missing a slot for a potential newly represented hero in the game. But that hasn't really panned out because they have added a 3- and 4-star hero in there. So Hell inheriting the skill from Ganglot, very, very appropriate. And then, of course, talking about the Spark. This is a new hero banner, so the Spark is not limited to Fate Pass users. Everybody can Spark and get a Celestial Stone in the process. So starting on the 17th of November, there is the banner as a whole. Again, TIki being there. I mean, I think young TIki fans, which there are plenty of them out there, are going to rejoice at there being an Awakened version. I mean, the Awakened version, I mean, from a design perspective, doesn't really feel like that distinctive from the other variations of young TIki. Again, I'm a big fan of adult TIki myself, and I personally would rather have seen a an Ascended Adult TIki, personally. And I know it's kind of hot off the heels of the Brave TIki, but again, the Brave TIki was wearing the outfit of the young TIki, so I think I don't know how this is going to be received. I have a sneaking suspicion that people are going to be a little miffed about it. But that being said, I mean, the banner as a whole, I think, Ganglot making an appearance not as a big surprise, getting both an Ascended and a rearmed hero on the same banner is a lot of value, and I think that's really what they're trying to do with these. These new hero banners haven't been drawing a lot of attention and basically orb spending, and so they're trying to bolster it by adding rearmed and Ascended heroes. I'm worried about them saturating things a little bit too hard. I said it before and I'll say it again. For me personally, I think it would make more sense if they alternated with new hero banners of a rearmed and an Ascended. It just kind of like spaces things out, makes it. I think it's just healthier in general for the release schedule. But let's go ahead and, that notwithstanding, let's go ahead and rewind, take a closer look at the skills that are available on this banner. So once again, here is Ganglot, going to be an infantry axe unit, art by Asatani Tomoyo, as usual doing a phenomenal job. Really striking, sleek design, very, very different from Hell. Almost looks like a graceful, younger version of Hell. Certainly has these ethereal qualities. The giant looming scythe over her is obviously very, very intimidating. Has sort of a bone tail pattern at the top. You have this sort of skull and crown emblem on the hilt portion of the blade. So overall, again, just a really striking design, really beautiful. So Arcane Downfall is going to be the inheritable weapon, the Arcane weapon. 16 might, has a killer slaying effect at start of combat if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%. Grants +5 to all stats. Foe cannot make a follow-up attack. Grants special cooldown charge +1 per attack. And when unit deals damage to the foe during attack, restores 7 HP to unit. Triggers even when 0 damage is dealt. So certainly a weapon that is going to shine on enemy phase, getting those stat boosts, eliminating the enemy's ability to do a double attack, and getting additional special charge means that she can retaliate with a vengeance, or with an iceberg, I should say. So she's going to enjoy the special cooldown charge, so she's going to enjoy the special cooldown count from Killer Slaying and the additional charge. So, all that being said, she's going to be able to pump out the icebergs with some regularity while she's enemy phasing, and also keep healthy with the extra HP restoration upon hit. So, really, really solid weapon. Obviously, I am eyeing this one for Vanilla Camilla. I think it's actually a great fit for her. So there is that. Iceberg for the special. Distant Stance for the A slot. Unit can counterattack regardless of foe's range. If foe initiates combat, grants res +5 to unit during combat. That is also a very, very good skill for Vanilla Camilla. Not to sound like a broken record here, but obviously just an enhanced version of Distant Counter. Quick Riposte 4 for the B slot. So our tier 4 of Quick Riposte, which has been a tier 1 or a gen 1 skill that has remained useful over the years, I have to say. If unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25% at the start of combat, so a lower HP threshold requirement, and foe initiates combat, reduces damage from foe's first attack during combat by 25%, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. Really? Okay, so it has some built-in damage reduction from the foe's first attack during combat. So that's really interesting. Wow, okay. So there's the HP condition, which is much, much more gracious. Guarantee follow-up attack, which is obviously kind of the big draw to Quick Riposte, but then you enjoy the damage reduction, which is going to help keep the unit healthy as well. So all that stuff put together is actually quite useful and quite strong. And a Joint Distant Guard for the C slot grants defense res +4 to all allies within 2 spaces during combat against ranged foes, and if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, also grants that +4 to both defensive stats to unit during combat against ranged foes as well. Yeah, so overall she's built to be a ranged enemy phaser, and her kit really just synergized together with that, giving her health restoration, special charge, damage reduction, boosts her res and her stats in general, boosts her defensive stats, and allows her to retaliate with a special. So all really, really potent things, and all of the defensive boosts are also going to boost the damage of Iceberg when that procs. So altogether, a great set of skills. I am curious as to whether or not Quick Riposte 4 would be mobility or weapon locked. I can't imagine it would be, because quick riposte isn't. But you never know. I mean, it could be possible. So I'm eyeing a bunch of these skills. Obviously, I'm looking at it through the lens of Vanilla Camilla. Obviously, I want that weapon on her, but at the same time, both Distance Dance and Quick Riposte 4 are they're catching my eye here. They're both very good skills. Next up, we have Hardin here rocking that turban. I know people have actually been wanting this version of Hardin for a while now, and so I'm happy to see those people get their wishes confirmed. Looks great, looks stoic. I love the assortment of blades at his side that he has there, as well as kind of the mysterious cloak wrapped around him. So Hardin has Coyote's Lance. Okay, 16 might, killer slaying effect. At start of turn, if unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +6, and the following effect to unit and cavalry allies within 3 spaces of unit for 1 turn. That's interesting. If unit initiates combat, unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +6 to unit during combat, reduces damage from foes first attack by 40%, and deals damage equal to number of spaces from starting position to end position of whoever initiated combat times 3, max 9, except when dealing damage with area of effect specials. So, alright, that is a lot of stuff to unpack there in that weapon. So, killer slaying effect, and then at start of turn, if unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, he gets 2 different effects as an activated buff. So, first thing is attack speed +6 as an activated buff. And then also, he and cavalry allies around him within 3 spaces get to get an automatic follow-up attack, gets an automatic double if they are player phasing. So that's an activated buff at the start of turn if he meets the condition of being within 3 spaces of an ally. So obviously, he's going to work very, very well with cavalry teams in general. They're going to definitely benefit from that power-up and activation at the beginning of the turn. And then the second portion is, if unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, so either or, so player phasing, even if they go all the way across the map and he's player phasing, or if he's just within 2 spaces of an ally in general, grants attack speed +6 to unit during combat, so an in-combat buff, gets damage reduction from the foe's first attack, and deals damage based upon the actual movement, which is something we're seeing more and more often. Sort of the clash element for the A slot is built into this weapon in particular, and I do think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting tree, like skill tree, to go down, and it's not certainly something not that he has to completely rely on. It just provides additional stat boosts. If the opportunity rises for it. Draconic Aura for the special, Surge Sparrow for the A slot is obviously going to be very good, since geared towards player phasing, and as a cavalry unit is going to essentially act as a heat-seeking missile into enemy territory. So that's certainly going to be helpful, going to allow stat boosts to the offensive skills, as well as some health restoration at the same time. And then attack speed near trace 3, which is obviously enables Kanto remainder +1 and inflicts attack speed -3 on foe during combat. I couldn't remember if we actually had this or not, and apparently we didn't, because there's that little exclamation point. So obviously the trace skills are quite strong, and it's going to find a great home on Hardin here. So definitely very solid overall. He's certainly going to excel on cavalry teams in particular. Cavalry allies are going to love that additional activated effect from Coyote's Lance. So that's definitely going to be a huge boon to place him in those team compositions. And here is Nyna as an infantry cleric. Really, really beautiful art, actually. Has this sense of gentle grace to her. I think there's something about the art style itself that reminds me of Final Fantasy almost. I think it's kind of the wisps of hair and the curls and the crown. But she has the gorgeous updo with the high ponytail with the ribbons wrapped and trailing behind. The elements of blue incorporated into the dress is actually quite striking, from the turquoise that's in the looks like the stones, as well as the cuffs, and then you have the more royal blue from the bust, as well as the front cloth there as well. And then obviously the golden accents adds this flair of royal refinement to the entire thing that just kind of pulls it all together. Really, really nice. So Respite Plus 12 Might grants Defense Res +2 and inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack to allies within 2 spaces of unit during combat. Okay. Alright, so that's actually, she's just going to be a support buffer. So granting defensive buffs as well as a guard effect on her allies within 2 spaces. So that's That's okay. It's not, doesn't, certainly doesn't, there's certainly better options for, I think, support staff users in general, but in a pinch, this could definitely be useful. Physic Plus for the assist, Miracle for the special, Sabotage, Speed 3 for the B slot, and Drive Defense 2 for the C slot. So, not a whole lot to write home about. Respite Plus is a decent support staff. I could certainly see it being used in certain compositions to kind of stack on the defensive buffs. In a defensive ball in Ether Raids, for example. Yeah, you could inherit this onto another cleric, maybe an armored cleric that just has buffs out to wazoo for all of the defensive allies and save armors around him or her. There are ways to incorporate it, certainly, but I also don't necessarily see people jumping at the bit to grab this particular staff. But the guard effect is an interesting one and certainly can have its uses. And then finally, we have Ascended Young TIki as an infantry red dragon. I mean, I think the artist really actually did a pretty fantastic job at rendering Young TIki here. The colors are really vivid and bright, really beautiful and crisp, and I think it all, composition-wise, I think it looks really great too. It's just TIki again. I mean, it's Young TIki. I mean, it's not like I can talk, right? Because obviously I'm a fan of Camilla, and I'm not complaining about all the Camilla alts in the game. But this Young TIki, from just like a design standpoint, looks like every other Young TIki kind of the game. Like she doesn't really look distinctive enough for me. She has that blue scarf, but beyond that, like the outfit is almost like exactly the same. It's just kind of like boring design wise, and so I don't know. I don't love the fact that she's getting another alt that doesn't have really a distinctive look to her. Again, not to take away from the artist, I think the artist did a pretty great job at creating this work for TIki. It just, design-wise, it feels a little uninspired and kind of retread. So TIki comes with Awoken Breath, which is a 16 might Dragonstone, has a killer slaying effect, and it is effective against dragons. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants +5 to all stats. During combat, grants special cooldown charge +1 to unit per attack during combat. Neutralizes foes' bonuses from Fortify and Rally, so any activated buffs during combat, and also if foes' attack can trigger their special, and unit's res is greater than or equal to foes' res +5, inflict special cooldown count +1 on foe before foe's first attack during combat. Cannot exceed foe's maximum special cooldown. If foe's range is equal to 2, okay, and then adaptive damage. Oh man, there's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, so alright, so there's a lot to unpack there. Let's start at the beginning. Killer slaying effect. Effective against dragons is always very good. Both of those things are going to be very good, and obviously very TIki. And then within 3 spaces of an ally, very, very easy condition to meet, +5 to all stats, and also getting additional special charge per attack. Very, very strong things. Neutralizing foes' bonuses in general is also going to be very useful during combat. And then if foes' attack can trigger their special, and there's going to be a res check associated with that, where her res has to be significantly higher than her opponent's, +5 even, above her opponent's. Inflict special cooldown charge count, or special cooldown count +1 on foe before foe's first attack. So I read that to mean that if they have their special charged, and they go to attack, and then there is this res check, then they're actually going to have a -1 charge to their special, essentially, at that point. So then they're going to have a 1-turn cooldown when they go in, so they're not going to be able to proc their special right away, is how I'm reading this. So, which I don't think is unique. I think we've gotten this before. I can't remember what other character and what other skill we've gotten this type of effect, but it essentially kind of rewinds the special charge on the opponent as they're attacking in, which is a very unique and high utility effect on this weapon for sure. Again, if I'm reading this right, I could be very wrong on that, but that's how I'm reading it. Iceberg for the special, speed res finish 4 for the A slot. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants +7 to speed and res during combat, and also if unit's special is ready or unit's special triggered before or during combat, deals +5 damage during combat, so 5 true damage, and when unit deals damage to foe during combat, restores 7 HP to unit. So that's going to have a restorative effect, deal raw true damage as part of the effect, and also just boost her speed and res as well. Speed res Bulwark 3 for the B slot, so has the obstruct effect essentially for whether you are a melee or a ranged unit. And inflicts speed res -4 on foe during combat, restores 7 HP to unit after combat. It's so interesting, she has some health restore on her B slot as well as her A slot, so it's going to be actually during combat and after combat. That's going to add a lot to her sustainability and tankiness in general. So she's gonna be a tanky one. Also, negating the enemy's ability to gain special charge, or really to have their special charged, I should say. Negating their activated buffs. Oh man. So all together for the C slot, grants +4 to all stats to allies within 2 spaces during combat. If unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, reduces damage from AoE specials by X%. X equal number of allies within 2 spaces of unit times 40, max 80%. So as long as she has 2 allies within 2 spaces, she gets the max benefit, which is 80%. Reduces damage from area, so that's specifically area of effect specials. That's not for everything else. So grants unit +4 to all stats during combat, and reduces damage from foe's first attack by X%. X equals number of allies within 2 spaces of unit times 20, max 40%. So once again, as long as there are 2 allies within 2 spaces, she gets the max benefit, which is a 40% damage reduction for the first attack. And then again, AoE specials get an 80% damage reduction. So she's going to be really, really tanky. She's going to get the damage reduction. She's going to get the health restore. She's going to get the special rewind on the enemy, essentially, more or less. All of these stat boosts, significant res, nullifying the enemy's activated buffs on their stat line, getting additional special charge for her attacks, the killer slaying effect, and all that stuff put together, coupled with the fact that it seems like she's going to be a very speedy unit, so she's going to naturally double a lot of units out there. There's nothing in here that guarantees her a follow-up attack, but I think she is going to naturally outspeed a lot of units as well. And so that's going to let her do more damage and also more efficiently proc that iceberg. So altogether, she's got a great set of defensive abilities and skills, as well as overall utility and buffs and support skills for her allies. Huge sustainability in terms of damage reduction and health restoration, and also acting really as a wall with Bulwark, because she is going to be able to obstruct the enemy from passing through unless they actually have past skills. So all that put together, she's going to be pretty annoying to deal with. You're going to have to bust out the dragon killers, because she's going to be essentially a formidable wall out there. So yeah. So, starting on the 17th of November and stretching for presumably an entire month, we've got Rearmed Ganglot More, including Ascended TIki. I think, for me personally, the main draw for this banner is going to be Rearmed Ganglot, and I would certainly like to get a copy of her for obvious reasons. She's just got a great set of abilities, skills that I could definitely really, really use. I think aesthetically she looks really awesome as well. The rest of the banner, I mean, I'm not super excited about it. I think young Tiki fans will probably rejoice, although, I feel like this version of her just looks too similar to the other versions of Tiki, and that lack of distinctive flair, I just feel like it's a little underwhelming, even if you are a diehard young Tiki fan. So I don't know. I'm curious to hear what all of you think, and what your reception is for this particular banner and the units that are available on it. I have no doubt that Tiki is going to be a very powerful unit. I think that Hardin is going to be a huge asset on cavalry teams. Nyna is okay, and then beautiful art, really pretty beautiful art, and then Ganglot is, again, I think going to be a real prize on the banner, at least from an inheritance standpoint. So let me know in the comments below if you're excited for this banner, if you're going to be summoning on it, who you're going to be summoning for. Remember that it's probably going to be around all month, so you can't afford to wait if you would like to. It's pretty high value having a Rearmed and an Ascended hero on it, but there's certainly going to be a lot of things coming towards the end of the year, Christmas stuff en route as well, so things to watch out for. It might be worth waiting to see what the next seasonal and the next legendary mythic hero banners are going to include. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching, for taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really do appreciate it. And until next time, let's protect those skies.